Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, comrades and friends, thank you so much for tuning in today. We got a relatively interesting story here. Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene, one of the highest profile figures in the MAGA movement, has opened a new rift in the Republican Party, declaring that the GOP has, quote, turned its back on America first and the workers and just regular Americans, end quote. The Georgia Congresswoman's stinging assessment came in a weekend interview with the Daily Mail that ricocheted through conservative media and Capitol Hill on Tuesday. Quote, I don't know what the hell happened with the Republican Party, end quote, she said. Quote, but I'll tell you one thing. The course that it's on, I don't want to have anything to do with it, end quote. Greene's frustration has been simmering for months, but the latest remarks at her sharpest public break yet, with House leaders and implicity, with elements of former President Donald Trump's second-term agenda. Speaking to Georgia's Fox 5, she mused that the party may be, quote, leaving me, end quote, insisting its current posture betrays the populist, anti-interventionalist promises that animated Trump's 2016 campaign. Foreign policy sits at the heart of her complaint, and in late July, she became the first Republican in Congress to label the Gaza conflict a, quote, genocide, end quote, a position that placed her well to the left of most GOP colleagues and drew an ear from pro-Israel donors. She's also lambasted the White House to withholding the full trove of Jeffrey Epstein documents, calling that decision a, quote, red line, end quote, and for what she views as a timid approach to Justice Department prosecutions stemming from the January 6th riot. Domestic spending is another flashpoint of hers. Greene blasted that her caucus last week for adjourning during August recess, while appropriations bill remained unfinished ahead of the September 30th shutdown deadline. Quote, the American people pay all the taxes and deserve their representatives to do our jobs, end quote, she wrote on X, framing the sabbatical as proof that, quote, establishment, end quote, Republicans are more responsive to lobbyists than to blue-collar voters. She reserved particular scorn for what she calls Georgia's, quote, good old boys network, end quote, of donors who, in her telling, quote, end up always being talked into really very weak moderate candidates, end quote, a pattern she warns will depress conservative conservative turnout among younger voters. Greene argued that the party elders also undervalue women, pointing to the Trump administration's decision to withdraw Representative Elise Stefanik's UN ambassador nomination. So, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, comrades and friends, that's pretty crazy there. Right? I mean, we got some good quotes there. You could tell she is pissed off at the Republican Party, and rightfully so. I mean, I don't know what party is America first when we're giving billions and billions and billions of dollars to the Ukraine, and when we're giving billions and billions and billions of dollars to Israel, when we have Americans in the street starving, we have Americans in the street who are homeless. We can't get universal health care in the country, not like she'd be for it, but we can't have anything nice, and instead we give our money elsewhere. We always give our money elsewhere, and it's very, very unfortunate. And I don't know, in what world does tariffs equate to America first? You're artificially, it's a de facto tax on Americans, right? When you're artificially increasing these prices here through these additional taxes, it's going to end up hitting back the consumer. Well, you think the corporations are gonna eat that hit? Yeah, give me a break. Even if they did a little bit, you're still going to get hit. Right. So at the end of the day, this is not American first policies. And when we start getting involved in foreign nations, and attacking them, such as what we did with the Iranian nuclear facilities and pushing our country toward the brink of war, that is not America first. And I think that we all need to wake up here. Right. The fact that we're not in a war right now is a bloody miracle. Right. And she's calling it out. Shockingly enough, she's shockingly calling it up. I always thought she's kind of crazy. But hey, she's at least waking up a little bit. Maybe she's escaping the matrix just a bit. So relatively interesting there. But it doesn't sound like she wants to break away from the party. It sounds like she wants to break away from Trumpism. So I imagine she's still conservative. Obviously, she's still a Republican. And she's probably always going to remain that way for as long as she lives. But it is interesting to think that maybe the Trumpism might die off in the minds of some of even his grandest supporters. So with that said, ladies and gentlemen, I'm curious to see what you guys have to say about it there. Let me know if you guys like this new style here. I was trying to make a little script beforehand and then read it off, give a little story, and then start giving my little opinion on it. But curious to see what you have to say. So with that said, hit that like and subscribe button here. Helps out the algorithm. And we will talk to you later, ladies and gentlemen.